and we talked around cybersecurity, and Napier's famous for it within, from an academic perspective. But tell me about, was it November, December last year?
Yeah, December. So a vulnerability was uncovered, and it had been around for a long time. Actually, it's a little component called Log4j, which is present in a huge number of systems and applications, and the whole world was subject to this vulnerability, actually, and there's a lot of chatter suddenly emerged on the security forums about it. Although this vulnerability had been around for a long time, suddenly people were aware of it and were trying to exploit it, and we saw a huge amount of traffic on our boundary of people trying to look for that vulnerability within the university. And we have a very large estate in terms of our server estate, because we are running the School of Computing amongst our other schools and all the virtual machines that they require to do learning and teaching and research. So we have a wide estate to protect. We were aware of the issue. We were aware of the need to scan and have additional vigilance, look for any security incidents, and we were aware of one potential intrusion, which we immediately firewalled off. We couldn't take down the service because it was critical to learning and teaching, and we agreed with the academic colleagues we'd keep it up but firewalled off. But the thing about that incident, which I think is the advice I would give to anybody who was facing the same situation, was to engage colleagues across the organisation. It wasn't an IS issue in its entirety. It was affecting everybody. And what we did was invoke the business continuity plan for the university. I think perhaps for the first time ever, we invoked the full business continuity plan, which is getting the gold and silver teams together on a call and explaining the situation and what we're going to do about it. And my reason for doing that was it was approaching Christmas. We normally have a 2-week furlough. Staff get a chance to have some downtime, and I wanted my team to have the same opportunity as everybody else, because we're exhausted after 2 years of a pandemic and everybody wanted some time off. The last thing I wanted was my team sat looking at the seam, checking for security incidents through their Christmas holiday. So we invoked the business continuity plan and discussed what services we could elegantly take down before the holidays, what the university could live without, and then how we would stand them back up in January. And I have to say, the thing that was the most pleasant for me was the very positive and collegiate response from my colleagues across the university, who said, yes, we understand the position. We understand the security threat to the university, but we also understand the impact on the people if they don't get to have the same opportunity to have a bit of time off as everybody else. And we took down the vast majority of services, non-essential services, and kept up those that are required for security and for learning and teaching over that period. And we recovered, and we learned a lot from it. We learned for some opportunities for improvement around how we host our services. We learned where we've got gaps in our knowledge about the services, and we learned some things about how we would approach that kind of incident in the future. Not perfect by all means, but certainly a really positive experience for me. And I think the key is know what you've got in your portfolio and plan for that kind of incident, because if you don't, if you don't have the benefit of a organisational-wide business continuity plan, you will not be able to face into it in the way that we could.
I think you clearly planned, because we were on a call during it right at the start, and you just seemed pretty chilled about it. So maybe underneath you weren't.
I think that was probably sad.